there are not two finer members to support anywhere in Illinois. This is, when I saw this possibility in my schedule, I was on a flight way too late last night, getting back from Washington, but I wanted to make sure, because it's important, especially, labor is obviously under attack nationwide, and it's especially under attack in Illinois. And, we have a governor who is unfortunately doing exactly what he said he was going to do, and it's not going to end well for really all of the middle class in Illinois. And so we just have to stay strong, and there are no better champions of labor than these two guys. So I think they both deserve a round of applause here. I could give you long stories about all the ways Washington is now working on. Sometimes I just explain this as saying that in Washington, the inmates are running both wings of the asylum right now. That it's not it's not a good situation. But there is one thing that I am working on that I think if we can succeed at it is going to make a big difference for Illinois. It's what we call the payer-state problem. Every year, $20 billion leaves Illinois because we get back a lot less in federal spending than we pay out in taxes. So we only get back about 75 cents on the dollar. Okay, so this is a huge amount of money, $20 billion a year. That's more money than is raised by the state income tax plus the state corporate tax put together. All right. So, and if you say, okay, that's fine. So Illinois is losing all this money. Who are the states that are winning? There's states like Indiana and Kentucky, and all these states that are bragging, Missouri, and all these states that are bragging about how wonderful their economy is, and saying that, oh, it's because we're right-to-work states. But in fact, if Illinois wasn't getting rooked out of $20 billion a year, we would be doing okay too. And so this is I actually just recently, just in the last couple of weeks, filed the paperwork for the Payer States Caucus, where I'm partnering with this right-wing Republican from New Jersey. New Jersey, it turns out, is the state that's getting screwed the worst. We're getting screwed about third worst, but we're partnering to actually just form a caucus, because it is not okay for the government to be redistributing wealth out of states like Illinois on the scale that they're doing. And this is, if we can get back even part of this $20 billion a year, it'll make a huge difference. Right now, this is, well, as a scientist, this is my scientific experiment in sharp elbow politics to see how this goes. Anyway, well, I just wanted to thank you again for coming out and supporting people who support labor, these two fine ladies. Thank you.
Keep up the big work.
Thank you.
Washington is quite a challenging place, I guess.
And unfortunately, we appear to be vying to become just as dysfunctional. We're trying not to. Thank you, Bill. I want to only speak for a second because I want you guys to be able to get up and get breakfast while it's still warm. I want to thank you for coming. I want you to understand, as always, I am always a vocal voice advocating for labor because I think it's so essential to our economy. It's our middle class, and it is definitely under attack right now. And I think as we have seen that union membership has decreased, our middle class has decreased, and that goes hand in hand. And we need to keep up the fight to not allow that to happen in order to keep our economy strong. We need you guys out there working. We need you investing your money back into the economy so people go out and buy things like cars.
We make tractors.
I know, you make tractors, but anyway. So I'm just here to say, I promise to keep up the fight, as I always have, for our labor guys, because I think we need it, and we need to maintain our middle class. We do know that the governor currently, this is under attack. This is a man who idolizes Scott Walker. Fortunately, the one advantage we have over Wisconsin is that our House and our Senate, we are still Democratic majority. And if you poll all the members, which the Speaker and the Senate President do, and you talk about things like right to work, we are on board and we're standing to support that, so that he's not going to be able to come in there and unilaterally change things like he's trying to do. He needs to understand. So thank you. Get some breakfast, do you have a couple of words, and then we'll let these guys
I'm
eat?
the trailer, because we're the House of Commons, so we gotta let the senators, the House of Lords. No, I love it. I love working with Linda. Springfield is great. Here's the reality, what we have in the governor's office. And I've had dinner with them. Linda's had
Breakfast.
first thing in the morning, which I could not stomach. I did get invited to breakfast, but I waited for a dinner invitation because she's stronger than I am. Here's the reality. The reality is this individual, I believe, is so far removed from reality that he doesn't even know what he's talking about. When he says, oh, I'm a fan of labor, I just want all these counties to go to referendum to vote on right to work. That's insane. We cannot have a state with counties making up their own labor laws, voting on their own contractual labor agreements, and changing. We have 102 counties. That's not even good policy to begin with. Much less, as we did in our dinner, we told him flat out, we're all union people, let's get to work on the budget. And he's not going to work on the budget. He's traveling all over the state. He's not in Springfield, not working on the budget, and we have some serious issues. The second thing everybody needs to keep in mind is this is an individual who's used to buying whatever he wants. So, I don't know about you, but to me, when you make $53 million in a year, you can buy whatever you want. So therefore, he is using that strategy against Linda, against myself, openly threatening Democrats and Republicans who don't follow his way. And just recently, if you're reading the news or if you're reading Capitol Facts, he had his $20 million PAC that he has started. And now, Bronner supporters who say they're Democrats have started their own $20 million PAC. But this PAC is not a true PAC. It's a 501c4, so we won't know who the donors are of this, and then the 501c4 is going to funnel money to the expenditure. So what he is trying to do right now, and I'm telling you completely blunt, is buy what he wants in the state of Illinois. And unfortunately, unlike you and me and Linda, we can't call 3 of our buddies and get $20 million. The speaker can't call 3 of his buddies and get $20 million. The speaker, and I know President Cullerton, works extremely hard to raise the money to keep Illinois blue, but we are up against a tsunami of an individual that can call 3 of his buddies and get $20 million, then call 3 more of his buddies, form a 501c4 to go around the election laws, so we don't know who's going to go into that organization, and put another $20 million. So this is where, if we take anything away from the Cantor election, he spent $5 million, the other guy spent $200,000, but grassroots can beat money. And this is where we need to energize, and we need to start focusing on 2 years today. 2 years from now, we can sit back and say, oh, it's a presidential year. Everybody comes out in presidential year. We don't know what's going to come out when we're coming up against $40 million. $20 million to get out moderate Republicans, to primary them, and $20 million to get out Democrats and to break the state. That's his agenda. He wants to break Illinois, and he wants to be the king to do it. And in fact, one of the senators told him, Governor, when he had dinner, was that dinner?
That was a breakfast.
A breakfast?
He told him he was not elected king. So we need him to understand this. And I think I told some of you at my breakfast with him, he mentioned that unions have outlived their usefulness.
Right.
Because laws were put into place because of the work that's been done in the past by unions. Now those laws are in place, you have all the protections you need, everyth's fine, trust him.
Unless you're a woman who's not getting paid the same amount as men, unless they're in a union. That is the only way we're having parity in our workforces, where a woman makes the same amount as a man. It doesn't matter which gender, what race you are, what you're doing. If you're doing the same job, you get the same pay, and you get the same benefits as everybody else. So, thank you all for coming. The food is up from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of Linda's heart. We are up for a fight against Goliath, and I'm glad that we have you all to help us out behind us. So, thank you all very much.